Hello, lovelies. Today is Tuesday, November the 5th, 2024, and it's an important day in the US because it's a day of the election. So, very interesting that this huge event is coinciding with our journey into the center of the Zolkin. Today is Red Self-Existing Dragon. And we go down into the seventh column, spinal column. We're in the blue, we're in white mirror wave spell, and we're on day 4 of it. So day 4 is always about becoming self-existing, and the way that I interpret that is about becoming free of codependency. We're in Scorpio sun. We've just had the new moon on the 2nd of November. Sorry, on the 1st of November. On the 2nd of November is when we went into the white mirror. So the new moon actually fell on red cosmic earth. It was the 13th day of red serpent, and we are in the red serpent 52-day process, which is the blue castle. So I've just had some exciting synchronicities today, and I love it when this happens. This is what the Zolkin is all about. If you choose to follow it on a daily basis, I've been doing this for 13 years now. I'm in my 14th year, so I've gone into a different cycle on the 2nd of November. I began my journey in 2011. And what I mean by that is by getting a calendar and tuning in every day to work intuitively, to learn about it. Okay, so here we are with the Zolkin. And the translation that I found about what this actually means, Zolkin, to put into the right order the family coding. And the way that I interpret that is to heal and release our ancestral wounding patterns so that we are an enlightened human being, a light warrior, truly. And White Mirror is all about being that sword of truth in our own life and being discerning. Cutting the cord is another way of looking at it. Our delusions and our illusions that our ego mind has created to use as a coping mechanism. And not only ourselves, of course, we're the latest in a line of human beings, but all that came before us. And so, of course, if we heal these distortions, then we can become free all the way back to the beginning. So we free our ancestral line. And I believe that's what purpose is about. So the Zolkin is about aligning with natural time. It's very important at this time. It was designed for this time because the regular calendar is a Gregorian calendar and it is keeping us stuck, going round and round in old circles. So there's several things that come into play that are very important. There are lots of distortions and illusions and delusions. White Mirror's planet is Neptune, and it's twinned with Red Dragon. And Red Dragon is what the great cosmic mother is bringing for our evolution. It's also our mother's survival codes and how we work. So much to talk about with all of this, and I'm not going to attempt that today. So please check out my other videos that I've made before. I just try and work with a microcosm each day. And again, this is what this is about. It's about learning how to download from the universe, literally to channel from the universe, and tune in as to what is coming up to be transformed, so that we choose a different way of living that is wise. So important. Just been watching some Jose Argelis videos this morning, and some key things clicked into place. So it's learning how to do that as well, rather than trying to do a linear way of learning that we've been programmed to believe that's the way. It's a way of being open to what the universe is trying to show us every day, and trusting that, and having the time and the space internally is really important, because that creates the external. So it can take a while to get off the karmic wheel and come into a natural way of living that's aligned with the universe. This is about unlearning as well, if you like. It's about going back to our true nature. Okay, so we began this particular 260-day cycle. They're all different. Every single one is unique because it has a different astrology happening. The starry skies are different, so it has a different energy that is setting the scene for this whole 9-month gestation process that we're going through. So this one began in July in Cancer. So if you think back to what was happening for you then, after the summer solstice, just after. And so again, once we get to the summer solstice, we've had, in the Northern Hemisphere, we've had the longest day, and the light starts shortening again. And we're now working towards the winter solstice on the 21st of December, when we have the shortest day. We've just had Samhain, and that is Sun's End. So that's on the 31st of October. And I've just done a circle with a group of people. And so we set some intentions there with a new moon in Scorpio. And so again, this is the start of my new 13-year cycle in White Mirror. And I'm going to be refining and transforming what I learned in the previous one in Red Skywalker. So Red Skywalker is my grandmother, and I am living her story primarily in order to understand why my family dynamic is like it is, and why I am like I am, and how to transform the challenges that she had, because in many ways I am still living them. And I believe this is true for other people too. I've worked with many people, especially women, and worked out their codes. And remember, with the Mayan calendar, the saying is in Lakesh, I am another you. It's one interpretation. You see yourself through me. There are only 260 stories. And so when we are magnetically attracted to people, we are mirrored back, and our story is projected out onto the larger picture, the bigger picture. So we have a shared game plan, if you will. A shared mystery school is how I see it. And each person has their own unique interpretation of that. Many people are still projecting old stories onto other people, because this is how I've experienced, how I believe people show up, the same players show up in different forms, in different bodies to help us keep repeating until we heal and understand why this wound has been created and how to heal it within us so that we change our energy, we change biologically, we change the matrix for us on a personal level. And so, again, what we are creating now, setting as an intention right now, will be manifest in the full moon in Scorpio, which is at the time of Beltane in May, which is the time of romance and love and manifestation and understanding that when we're in Scorpio, it's what needs to die so that we can live, so that we can go from beyond survival and we can thrive. So important at this time because of things that are happening with certain bloodlines, certain stories, history repeating itself in a slightly different way. How do we change that? That's the most important thing. And we change it through each one of us. Each one of these pixels represents a personal story and also a cosmic story, as above, so below, the micro and the macro. And so basically, to put that in simple language, the world is a reflection of us, for us. And that's the paradox, is each person experiences some shared things as the rest of human beings, but they experience their own particular personal version of it, depending on where they are on their personal evolution. So it's so important to understand, because if people do not transform themselves and heal, then not only does that affect them as an individual, but it also affects everybody as a collective. Okay, so as I said, we went through red, awakening, white, refining, and now we're in the blue. So from July to now in November, this is what we've gone through. And so as you can see, this is also a mirror image on the other side where we see the manifestation and the green castle of the heart. So what our heart desires, what our heart wants to manifest. And hopefully, through going through this process, human beings are going through a maturation, a transformation of their childhood ego. It's time for us to grow up, let go of playing any sort of victim role in believing that somebody has power over us, somebody else knows better than us about our own personal history and healing. You know, again, this goes back thousands of years. Transferring responsibility to somebody else instead of learning how to do these processes for ourselves. And yes, of course, we can have people who have special gifts. And again, this is reflected in these archetypes, these 20 archetypes. But all of us have to take responsibility for our own well-being and to create respectful and loving relationship. And that is a priority now, because on a deeper level, everyone wants to be loved, everyone wants to be respected. And when that hasn't happened in the past, this is where the wound is created. So 20 days we have here that we're going to go down the spinal column. And as you can see, we've got the DNA here. DNA shape. These are Akashic record portal days, galactic activation portal days, where often we will find history is repeating itself on a personal level. So it's useful to know how these particular squares relate to our personal history, so we can consciously be aware of what's happening in the universe and in our personal story, and then how we can use healing tools and guides such as this one, and astrology and emotional freedom technique is the tool that I use to transform my wounding and focus on shaping my destiny to be the full avatar potentiality that I can achieve in this lifetime. So ideally to be in my center, no matter what is going on in the world, to be able to move beyond my ancestor stories and to help other people do the same. And I believe that's our mission impossible, is to come to know ourselves, to know how to heal ourselves, and to help other people do the same on a basic level. And so it is so important to focus on oneself. It isn't selfish. It's what we're here for, to be the universal expression of us. We are the universe. So, as I said, we're going down this main column. And by the time that we get, so just to count across, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So by the time we get down to the end, we're going to be in yellow planetary sun. We'll see what's manifest for us in terms of how much light can we hold. The yellow sun refers to the galactic sun that is beaming out a solar evolutionary pattern for human beings. And the more that we heal and clear our shadow story, the more we can resonate with that, resonate with truth, and live in alignment with truth. So let go of any toxic relationship, mind, body, and spirit. That's so important. To me, this is what God and Goddess means. It means to be in alignment with nature, the natural patterns, the truth, how to live fully as a human being. And also the other aspect of this. So if you're aware of different ways of breathing, so if you are aware of, for example, Joe Dispenza, Supernatural, does meditation and a particular style of breathing. There's also Kriya Yoga breathing. There's also quantum touch breathing, to name a few. So there's lots of different ways to actually use the breath, which is a second mind sign of new learning coming in. How to use the breath to run the energy up the spine and to clear the patterns that we're holding in the body. So again, it's very important to realize that this whole mechanism of mind, body, and spirit all has to work together to energize us. We've got the Torus in our body that most people haven't initiated yet. So again, using things like emotional freedom technique, tapping is working with the chi. It's not in the Western medical model, it's in the Eastern medical model. It's about how to let your life force flow without any impediments. When we get impediments in the block, it's like little boulders in the stream. And this comes from thoughts. These thoughts come from belief systems, and these belief systems that are distorted come from our ancestral bioenergy, which is in us on a cellular level, also where we were brought up, in our family dynamic, in our cultural dynamic, and of course now in the media dynamic, especially. And so learning how to release these blocks is really important. So if you haven't checked out Emotional Freedom Technique yet, do check it out, because it's really magical and it works. And it's a very practical, powerful tool. And I love to share it with people. So we're in the central column, and if you know your codes, because you can map your codes using the Mayan calendar into 13-year cycles. So this central column is very important for knowing what you are going to specifically transform. So if you're interested in learning more about that, please do get in touch with me. There'll be a link below. For me, today is when I was 34. And so, yeah, I'm just counting in my mind just to make sure. Yes. So White Mirror for me began when I was 31, which was in 1996. So I'd become a mother with my son in 1995. He was born. And so for me, this is when I was 34, a very important time. And so again, running these energies right down, this whole column is until I was 53, which is just after becoming a Mayan elder at the age of 52. And so we have 4 13-year cycles. And this is the only time, usually, unless you live to be 104, that you're going to complete and then start repeating with different eyes, hopefully, of an elder, to start to really see how these patterns keep coming in and how to heal them. And then literally your holograph will change, your reflection will change. So I felt called to, I don't just buy books on a linear basis. I wait until I am nudged by the universe to get one and read one. And so the magic of this was written just after 9/11, which is a very powerful time because there were lots of things happening at that time. And so this is in my 20 cycle that I've just told you about. And so again, the synchronicities, the people that I'm working with at the moment, I am going to work those codes out for them and see if it's also true for them. And that'll be a fascinating pattern to discover, won't it? So I usually buy my books from a book store that has secondhand books, because I love doing this because I always find little notes in there. And it's a great way of connecting to those people's energy as well. Now, I know this isn't, strictly speaking, is not true in terms of the American model, because in America, the framework for dates is reversed. So in England, we would write the 2nd of November as 0211. And when you write that in America, that means the 11th of February. But when I got these, you can see what came up straight away for me. I didn't use the American model, I used the English model. These were inside. And so whoever owned this, it has quite a lot of information on there as well. So if this is you and you're watching this, please do get in touch with me. I'm just going to put it again. There are 3 tickets. But for me, I immediately saw the 2nd of November. And so, yeah, that just blew me away. I also watched a video by Jose. And again, I haven't really watched a lot by him because I look at what I'm intuitively drawn to look at a particular time. And for me, that's what I believe the dream spell is about. It's about trusting your own sacred intelligence, your angel on board that's guiding you. And the more that you heal, the more that you can hear this. So whenever I get a cosmic nudge, I trust it. I've always trusted it. And sometimes I know it's difficult to interpret whether it is your higher self or whether it's an old repeating pattern. And so sometimes feeling into that, is there an urgency with it? There's a different feeling about it for me that I trust. And there's an excited feeling. It's not a fear feeling. It's look at this, look at this. No, it's exciting. And I just trust it and I go with it. So he talked about this huge solar plasma that was coming in 2006, 2007. And that's when I made a huge shift at that time because I started learning about holistic therapies and training in them. And I did a lot of different things at once, mind, body, and spirit, literally, because I was learning massage, I was learning aromatherapy, to be in my body and understand the body experience. I was also learning clowning. I was learning about clowning as sacred healing, understanding how to be free of old patterns. I was doing community workshops at that time as well. And I was doing training in neuro-linguistic programming. I was doing belly dancing, and that's really coming up now again with Tai Chi. The more that over time that you experience these things, you can see how this flow of energy and the teaching of it and the embodiment of it is in so many different places. And so all of these teachings hold the truth of how to move your body. And even if, you look at dance, a lot of formal dance even, or ballet, it's all encoded in there in the positions. I've just started doing Tai Chi again with a great teacher. And I highly recommend doing Tai Chi and Qigong because it's so powerful and it ignites the energy, the sacred intelligence, and the ability to switch that on in the body with conscious intent. And conscious intent is, of course, so important. So during this 20-day process, the cards that I got today from the Mayan Oracle were organic balance. So isn't that funny? We've done 6 20-day processes and now we're in the 7th. And so coming into balance is the first 6. And we go into the 7th, which is the mystic, which in terms of the Mayan signs, blue hand is the 7th Mayan sign. The 6th Mayan sign is white world bridger, and letting these old worlds go, taking action now. We're ready to take action. Mars has gone into Leo now. Time to take action as the heart warrior. And so there we go. The Leo. The heart is the magnetic resonance. So doing what we love, what we're passionate about in a healthy way. So not doing it in an addictive, hedonistic way, which is the untrained, immature ego. This is about our passion, our love, our connection to Mother Earth, our connection to having courage at this time of adversity for everyone, this time of the end of time so that new ones can begin. Think back to these dates if you're around on the planet then. And so going back in time to 2001, what was happening for you then? Usually most people have a personal story about September the 11th. Think back to what changed for you. Everything changed significantly around people's freedom, people's movements, what that meant, how they saw the world, how they interacted with the world. Many things coming out now, many documentaries out there around different perspectives of that time. There was a huge cosmic shift. And so again, going back to the time and the technosphere, I've only just started it, but very interesting that it was written with that particular event in mind as well. And yeah, just it was a very profound time for me. And it gave me an impetus at that time to really make significant changes in my life. Although some things remained the same, and some of those relationships had to stay in place until later on. So again, this is what I offer you. Again, it's difficult to know at the time, but when you have observed people's behavior over a long period of time, you see how these patterns repeat and you see what is important as to why people do what they do. Very important to know that as a conscious dreamer. And again, this is what this wave spell is all about, how to be a conscious dreamer and understand and be a part of this Torus energy. So again, Torus, not the Taurus. Although you can see it in that way as well. So think about the creations that have been publicized around Taurus energy. Taurus energy uses the energy of the cosmos rather than an individual life force for a human being. And it is possible for the world to be a very different place once we release this artificial program that we are in and allow ourselves to realign with natural time and who we really are. It's so important because until people really understand this, nothing can change on the outside. It's so important. So if you're ready to do that, if you're ready, maybe you're already in the process of doing that, maybe you have awakened and you understand a lot of these things intellectually. Remember, this is about energy. It's about our energetic field. It's about how we interact in this game plan and how we change that story Again, Chiron in Aries, it's time for new beginnings around who am I? Why am I here at this time? That is so important. So understanding your personal mission impossible in this lifetime is important. Astrology can help you understand that. The Mayan dream spell can help you understand that. If you feel drawn to using the dream spell on a daily basis, that can really help you move mountains. And most importantly, is to change your inner world so that you can become emotionally aware, emotionally centered, be an expert on yourself, your own patterns, and then how to transform them and heal them so that you are free, emotionally free. And that doesn't mean that you don't have emotions. It means that you understand why you're having emotions, because they're designed to help us navigate life. Also, to regulate emotions, to not let them become overwhelming, to rewire our emotional mind, to allow ourselves to feel, to heal. That's very important. And to love deeply, because everything is love. There is no opposite to love. There are lots of different permutations of what happens when we don't feel loved, when we don't feel loving. And truly, in order to be able to feel all of our emotions and feel safe, be able to express ourselves in relationships diplomatically, assertively, and free of backstories that we haven't healed. So we're not bringing our whole life and everybody's life that came before us in this huge emotional black hole that's sucking everything into it. Using emotional freedom technique will help you do that, absolutely. And remember to build your skill. It takes time. Be patient. There are lots of resources out there. Emofree.com is Gary Craig's website. He's the originator. There are free manuals on there of how to do it. There's loads of people tapping on YouTube. And I think Gary's reframe now is palaceofpossibilities.com. But I think if you put emofree.com in, it will still come up. I've been doing this since 2007. It changed my life. Everyone that I've worked with, it's changed their life. I know it can change your life too. And if we all tapped every day for 15 minutes on what came up for us, what triggers we had, then that in itself would make a huge change to the world. So I'm really for that. And I know it's not rocket science, anybody can do it. So let's be the change that we want to see. So I hope you have an amazing 20-day process in the Zolkin, and just focus on the last 120 days, what's been happening for you around the home, around mothering, your mother, what makes you feel sad, what makes you feel angry. These are the things that need transforming in order for you to transform. The triggers, the problems are the solution. And there's lots of other tools that we can add in there as well. to assist us. But tapping is absolutely core. If you change your emotional mind, if you change how you feel about living in the world and you feel safe, consciously and most importantly, unconsciously, if you're calm and peaceful and relaxed, that's it. That's it. Mission accomplished. Because that means everything from the past has been healed and you are now a different human being than all of your ancestors. And as we do that, we unlock all the secrets, all the wisdom, and we live a very different life, a magical life, the life that we are meant to live, and why we came here at this time. Lots of love. See you soon.